Hi, Victoria.
Hi.
How are you doing?
Amazing.
4 years out of Project Restart, and I want to say congratulations first on your book,
Thank you so much.
Released from Prison, then Rearrested by the World. I can't wait for you to tell more about the title, how you came up with that title, because it's one that I think is so fitting with what so many people face when they come home.
Right.
But I'm proud of you. I remember back in 2020 when you went through Project Restart, which you were the first class, 2020, and your trajectory was all about motivational speaking and writing a book. And so you were actually my accountability partner for me finishing the book, and you beat me to it. So I got to take my hat off to you on that.
So, the biggest thing for me with the title was Rearrested by the World.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of us, when we do time, everything stops. So, you're planning on getting out, you're writing down everything, what you're going to accomplish. Then I did Project Restart, and I was motivated and I was encouraged and I was on a new path, but trials and life happened.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when I was rearrested. So sometimes we don't plan for that. We think freedom, life, now this is what I'm gonna do more moving forward.
Right.
And it was nothing like that.
Right.
But the book focuses on the entire story. So 4 years of being out, 4 years of struggle, but 4 years of never giving up. A lot of mental warfare,
Mm-hmm.
spiritual battles, um, and it actually is written in real time.
Okay.
So this past year, I decided to finally write the story.
Mm-hmm.
And I was living in my car, no one knew. And I just didn't want to give up, but nothing made sense anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So I just drove and I just told myself, just drive till I run out of gas. And I wrote.
Yeah.
And here I am.
Here you are. So that was therapy for you then.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because I knew it was going to be a bigger me reading it. And I knew that there's a lot of people out there that's scared to tell their story
Mm-hmm.
and that could relate to mine.
Right.
So, yeah.
I'm curious, just, I know you, myself, I mean, I think everybody struggles with mental health, but when you pair with that the experience of incarceration, there is a phrase called post-traumatic incarceration disorder.
Hmm.
Um, do you feel like some of the mental health issues you faced are more so from things that have happened in your past previous to incarceration, or that experience, or I mean, is it a combination of all of those things?
All of those things.
Mm-hmm.
So that is where the constant warfare comes because you never have time to heal.
Right.
You never have time to take a break or take a breath, figure it out, lay on someone's couch while you get it together because life happens. So I went through a lot. I pushed, made it out of it into another phase because I never healed from that phase. So
Right.
it never stopped.
Right.
So the system was not there to catch me. Just programs. Um, so I was grateful for that. It just, like Project Restart, just opened my eyes to my gift and it reminded me that I was worthy. So when you can feel worth, you make things happen, right, especially when it doesn't make sense or when you have little to nothing left.
The power of people. So it serves as support and ammunition,
Right,
of sorts, because it gives you something to fire out with. I mean,
purpose.
and I think it warms my heart to hear you say that, because it's a passion for me. Project Restart has always been a passion for me, and you don't always know if you're making an impact. And when I see you, and I know what your low points have looked like, because
Right.
we've been on the phone before, we've been in person, so you're just proof that programs like Project Restart work. But it's more than the program. It's the people. It's our relationship.
Correct. And you're definitely the proof. No matter what time went by, year, 8 months, 7 months, you still picked up the phone. And like from the beginning, you was like, "Hey, I'm your mentor," and I never knew what that meant, but I just liked the way it sounded.
Mm-hmm.
It meant like, "Hey, you're gonna hold me accountable. You're gonna be there to motivate me." And the passion showed through everything you said to me. Um, like I wrote in the book when I was homeless. I didn't know what I was going to do at this point, and I just called you, just started talking, and you just said, "Hold on, let me make a call." You made the call, called me back. I had a place to stay. So it was just like, if you didn't have passion, it would have showed in that moment. And I've never forgot that. And that is the beauty of.
Thank you so much. And, that was one of them situations where it was just, I'm just like, look at God.
Right.
It's one of those moments where I'm just
Right.
like, this is divine, because I knew that the geographic area was going to work for you, and the price point was going to work for you, and it gave you a little cushion, a little room for you to feel comfortable again, and to have a space that you could call your own, even though it wasn't going to be a permanent space.
But you did stop there. You hired me to do the t-shirts
I did.
for the entire group.
I did.
Then it just started connecting me with other organizations and everything like that. So yeah, it was just more than just picking up that call. It was, you really gave me a purpose.
Well,
So
I'm glad of that. And some small things I don't always think about as a big deal. It's just like, oh, well, she makes t-shirts,
yeah.
and those small things in my mind could be something much larger for you. And I think that's the power of opening doors for people. Those doors will open. And do you gravitate towards it's more youth than adult?
Um, you are more easy to tame. Adults are stuck in their ways. Me too.
Yeah.
But actually, I do better with adults.
Okay.
Because it targets like that part of me, that the strength part of me. With the kids, it's more fun and lax, because really all you need to do is just do it. With adults, it's like you need to address what's going on now, what hurt that you have, because until you release that, you can't move on. You can't do what you see other people do. You have to heal, because I hear it, I see it in your routine, your patterns. It's pain. It's not happening for you. You don't have the funds. No, it's pain.
Yeah.
So yeah, I really like to focus on that, because people are trying to operate with the baggage, and that's exactly my whole story. Making it happen with that heavy baggage, and if you don't release it, then it's gonna basically delay your process.
I think that's so critical, especially in today's world. I mean, there's so much negativity in politics, the climate, violence, healthcare. Like, there's so much negativity, and we all carry trauma. And I want to know what your perspective is around how you deal with trauma. I'm a proponent of therapy. I know some people don't believe that it's beneficial, but I think everybody at some point in their life would benefit from it. Doesn't mean forever.
Right.
I have friends that are in therapy, they say probably for life, just because that helps them to get through. Um, what are your thoughts around how you deal with trauma and being able to move forward and let go? Like, how do you let go of the baggage?
Okay. First I'll say, don't use therapy as a clutch. I go to therapy every Wednesday, so I'm good. I'm gonna be all right. I go to therapy every Wednesday. You won't until you implement exactly what you're feeling and being able to release that. So, being able to release is seeing it written down. All the hurt, write it down. What happened to you at this age, write it down, year to year, month to month, and to see it written down, it will do something to you, because it's no more hiding it. It's not here, it's there. So I can see it. Let me ball this up, burn it before the next person see it.
Yeah.
I don't want this to be exposed.
Yeah.
But I need to heal it first for me.
Right.
So then when I look at the trauma, I have to find my fault in it. And that's deep, because a lot of people are like, well, they did this to me. You can always find your part in it to forgive yourself. And once you do that, you can forgive the other person.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's a good perspective, and I think the same is true for people that think if I go to church once a week, I'm gonna be good.
I'm good.
But they're a liar, they're a cheater, they're a philanderer, or I know all the scriptures, and so I'm a Christian, or I go to couples therapy with my wife or my husband, so
So
we're
we
good.
good.
And it's the same thing. It's definitely in some cases just a quick band-aid and something people can throw out into the universe to make themselves feel better about a
Right.
situation. But it takes a lot of work.
It's like, wow, that's a lot.
Yeah.
I've been carrying that. Now I'm proud of me. Now I'm no longer upset because, wow, I've made it through all of that, but today I let it go. But in order to let it go, I have to do that with myself because I'm not worried about other people's judgment, because I'm not looking for their opinions. I'm not using the therapist as a way to escape. Once I get in my car, I'm thinking about it again.
Right.
So I tried psychiatrist, therapist, and I talked, and I'm like, really, you can't tell me nothing that I already don't know. Right. So I'm just running my mouth, and they're just typing. I'm like, okay. So after that, everything was racing. Like, oh, whatever. I just dumped all this on you. You can't really help me in the now. And I read the notes, and that is when I was able to sit down and take me serious. Okay. Like, wow. She peeped that out of 20 minutes.
Right.
Let me sit down and give myself 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Let me connect the fault that she saw in me that I omitted because I didn't want to see it. So that's I just powerful. Kept going, and I was able to release it then.
That takes strength, because a lot of people will use a quick fix solution, and they'll jump into a relationship, or they will go out every night, or go and spend money, and that creates secondary problems a lot of times. And so I think it takes a certain level of self-love to say no, to draw boundaries when you are healing, or when you are going through trying to become a better person. And I think there are a lot of codependent people that are not whole within themselves, and then wonder why a relationship doesn't work. I think you have to bring, your best version of yourself, the most whole version of yourself, to have a successful, healthy, and sustainable relationship.
No matter how long it takes.
Right.
We don't like to look at I'm alone, that look. We don't like that look. But that is the pruning. That's the look that is going to get you to the glow and the shine.
Right.
So a lot of relationships I was using as a placeholder. I have purpose here. I'm going to make this work. Yeah. I see why it's not going to work, but I'm going to make it work. Right. Because I have purpose again. I have something to do. Yeah. So I was using them as a placeholder, and when it didn't work, they did this to me. Right. They did this. No, you did that to yourself. Exactly. You need to release that being while you work on yourself. That's right. And it's always every year, I'm going to work on myself. 2 months later, you feel healed. No. Right. It might take 6 months. It might take a year. It depends on how far you go back. Exactly. But you have to be okay with where you're sitting, because you know where you're going. Exactly. And everything comes to you. Yeah. You don't have to go seek it.
And you have to know what that objective is. What are you striving for? Is it just to have more good days every week than bad days? Is it, are you wanting to be 100% past a situation? And how do you know when you're there? And that's a tough place to be in. And I think these days in my life, I find myself just every day throughout the day just saying, thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. And that's what lets me know, like, I'm in a good position for whatever I want to do next. Right. Because there are days where I'm like, man, why is this happening? Or why am I not past this issue that I'm having? So, I think we have to define what healing is, what it looks like. It's never going to be perfect. I mean, it's ups and downs. It's not like just this straight lift off thing. It's the same with grief or anything else. I mean, you have to realize it's going to be ups and downs, but I think we have to define, what will that feel like when I am there?
Right. And to get there, you have to define healing. And I would define it as forgiveness. And forgiving yourself for going through that cycle again when you already learned. Right. Forgiving yourself for seeing that, maybe this will work when you know it won't. So forgiving yourself, and then you're like, okay, I'm starting the healing. I'm not there yet, but I'm starting the healing process.
That's good. That's growth. So where are you now? I mean, you got your own place. I saw that you've been decorating, getting all of that together, and
I'm at the point where I'm finding joy in like me waking up. I believe the last chapter is about me being woke and understanding what being woke means. So I'm in my own place. It's not furnished like I want to. It's not being furnished quickly, but I'm there. I'm woke. Yeah. I'm appreciating that I have the space, the time, the opportunity. I'm not cramped. I'm not feeling like I have to dust everything off to go visit somebody because I need something and putting on the face. I'm woke now. I'm in a space. I'm comfortable. And I'm just building on my brand. I'm just letting God be God because I decided to choose me in this season, and it has a lot of different looks. Yeah. But I don't try to explain too much of it because that means I'm seeking from others. Like I'm loving me, and that's just what it looks like.
The simple things,
right.
doesn't take a lot to be happy. Especially once you're healed. I think that is the beautiful part of being healed is going out and having a brisk walk and getting some fresh air can just be like the highlight of your day.
And it's always been there. That air has always been there. You've never been able to see it. Just because you're blocked with all the distractions and other people and expectations, and when you start being able to see it, it's like, wow, I'm really here. I'm here.
Obviously, in my role now as executive director of a nonprofit helping people who are coming out of or who are incarcerated currently with higher education. But coming out of incarceration, I mean, what would you say are the steps that someone should take to make sure that they're moving in the direction that's best for them based on their strengths, their gifts? I mean, how do you come up with that plan when you come home? I mean, there's so many things that you can choose from. Like, how do you decide if it's education? Is it employment? Is it entrepreneurship? Like, how do you figure that out?
So, getting out, we're so ready to be free, and we forget the best part that was being incarcerated. Like, I know it's tough to say the best part, but that time alone.
Solitude.
So when we're free, we're like in everybody's faces. We're happy. We're excited. We don't drown out the noise. We're not able to because the world keeps going. We had no choice inside.
Right.
But if we took that time, a lot could come out of that. So when you release, take time for yourself. Go out, sit within your own thoughts, but you're not confined. So you won't lose your mind. So you're free, but you're choosing this. So I say, get to your own self and get with your own thoughts, right? Drown out the noise, turn that phone off. We didn't have the phone in there.
Oh, yeah.
Turn that phone off. Listening to your favorite music. Sometimes it could speak to you, and definitely committing yourself to God. Yeah. It's like a lot of needs, your family, friends, trying to make up for lost times, and it's such a distraction.
Yeah.
So you will never be able to hear God, or you won't be able to hear your passions and your joy. You can't, because it'll be drowned out. Talk to God, listen to music, walk, drink water.
Oh yeah.
Treat yourself healthy.
Yeah.
And it's gonna come. You're gonna say, hey, either I like this song, it speaks to me. Let me play it back. Let me write down what it said. Oh my, I want to tell my story. Or hey, I want to make clothes. I'm into fashion. I'm looking around and I'm seeing what I see. So it's all with just getting out, taking time for yourself, and being aware of your surroundings and being intentional with what you're trying to get to. Yeah. I'm intentional with knowing my purpose. Whether it's 20, 45, 63, be intentional. And don't focus on the time. Time is a distraction. Yeah. Time is a distraction. So we focus on the time and, I've lost this much time. It's never too late.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you won't hear that voice until you quiet down in your free space.
Yeah. I love that time that, is a distraction. I've had this conversation with other people who've been incarcerated. I commend for people who have been locked up. When they come home, they have such a desire to do so much.
Right.
but I think you got to be realistic as well.
Correct.
Because you will spin your wheels and you'll get burnt out so quickly.
Yes.
And not really get anywhere. It's like the treadmill effect.
Some things are repetitive.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this. Okay, let's join these.
Right. That was something we talked a lot about in Project Restart this year was, you got, if you take every goal and you think of it in phases, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, and 4 is what the final goal is.
Right.
And I think a lot of people want to get to that phase 4
Right.
without taking the baby steps at
Right.
phase 1, the grunt work, the stuff that's not pretty, especially when it comes to starting a business.
Yeah.
You're not going to open doors or get a building tomorrow. That's what a lot of people are chasing. And so I think it's really important for people to think about. I like what you said, combining some of your passions together into one space versus it being so fragmented.
Right.
And now you got 15 tasks versus
Right.
5 that are more concentrated.
And once you notice the pattern, you'll notice the purpose because it's going to start revealing itself. Like with me, when I tell people, they say, I want to do this, I want to do this. You'll say that for years.
Mm-hmm.
Do it.
Do it.
When I wanted to do t-shirts, instantly, how much money do I have? Okay. Not, okay, I'm going to save up till I get 20K. No, I went to go buy the t-shirt machine.
Yeah.
I went to go buy 5 t-shirts.
Yeah.
I made those 5 t-shirts and decided I am a t-shirt maker.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to become it because I acted on it.
Yeah.
So a lot of times people focus on ahead of time and, I want it to just be perfect, just be right. Start now. Act now.
Yeah.
Because the time is just, like I said, it's just a distraction. You're like, hey, okay, but then no, start now, start today. You never know who you run into tomorrow.
That's right. And a lot of people also use money as a reason to not do something. And I think there's always something free that you can do that's going to help you get to your goals.
Always. Even
if it means stop looking on Instagram and find a video on YouTube that's related to something you need to learn to do this goal. Or, is there a way that you can do something that is going to be a cost save, like fixing a toilet at home that you typically would pay $200 for, but you can learn how to do that, take that $200 that you would save and put it towards your goal. So I think saving time, saving money, and not using those two things as an excuse, because we all have the same 24 hours in a day.
Correct.
It's just what is priority to you,
right?
And how do you make sure that every single day you're doing something on that list and checking something off towards it.
And like I said, the phone, we all have phones.
Right.
So you have phones, you have a gold mine. You don't always need the money to get started.
Right.
You could say you want to do a cleaning company.
Right.
So you go ahead and make the Instagram.
Exactly.
It's free.
Yeah.
Get the name, make the Instagram, and start posting cleaning things. Just start using the hashtag and seeing
reposting things that other people have posted.
And so that was free. So we can't use that as an excuse, but we do. And we also use excuses as a clutch. We're like, hey, well, I don't have it. Like, what do you want?
Right.
Because obviously you don't want what your future self needs. Mm-hmm. You don't want that right now. You just want the fad. You just want to look good right now, but it has to go through this process so it can get to that point. Or God can bring somebody else to skyrocket it.
Right.
So it's really up to you.
It is.
And you meaning to actually want the end goal to find your purpose. God can spot a fake.
Yeah. And excuses are so, they're a dime a dozen. And I think we're all guilty of making excuses. And I think of 2 examples, too, of it doesn't take a lot of money sometimes, and people use that as an excuse. When I think of my first business that I started, which was the interior design and staging business, I used a lot of things that I already owned, to stage the house.
Right.
And then the rest of it came from the Goodwill.
Right.
I literally found a couch at the Goodwill. I found a rug at the Goodwill. And my inventory probably started at, the first set of furnishings that I had was probably all in $200. And I made about $800 off that job. Wow. And you just keep flipping it from there.
Exactly.
The same with, starting to sell clothes on Poshmark. I started with my own closet.
Wow.
I didn't go out and buy inventory.
Right.
I went in my closet and I thought of, what am I not wearing? How can I put this on this mannequin, make it look good? And so a lot of times we overthink. We
Exactly.
overthink, and we think, again, we're going to this phase 4. I'm going to have a boutique. No, I got to start in my own closet,
Correct.
and then you get to the next step by flipping that money and continuing to grow organically.
Right.
That's what's going to be sustainable.
And stop involving everybody in the process.
Right.
Their vision is not your vision. Where they're going is not where you're going. Right. And a lot of people purposes is not what yours is. So some people are just purposeful right there.
Yeah.
Hey, bye.
Exactly.
And your purpose might be bigger. They don't have the capacity. It's not that they're small or not as smart as you. It's just it wasn't given to them.
That's right. The vision was given to you by
Right.
God. It's in your eyes, not
Correct.
theirs. Yeah.
So,
and even, I mean, especially for people that have not been where you're trying to go, but the same is true for people who are successful in that position, because again, their vision is not the same as yours. I mean, you're going to have a variance in your approach, in your product, in your service.
Right.
So I think it's important. I get advice from people who are further ahead than I am, but there's still value in the way that I'm going to approach it.
Right.
And you take, it's cherry picking. You can take people's advice, let it serve as motivation, let it serve as education. But at the end of the day, you take all of that together. Correct. And you formulate what you have to do.
What works best for you.
Yeah. And you got to align yourself with the right people as you're on these goals, or cut yourself off from people. Because I'm at a phase of life. One of my friends in Minneapolis, Minnesota, she created it's a book that she has, and she identifies the 4 types of people: adders, subtractors, multipliers, and dividers. And I'm at a place in my life where I can't afford to align myself with subtractors and dividers. And those are people either, taking,
right,
hating on you,
right,
or really trying to deliberately destroy you.
Correct.
But the adders and multipliers are your day-to-day, true blue friends, family, support system. And the makers, or the multipliers, are those people that can take you to the next level, open a door you can't open with no expectation of something in return. Because there are people who pretend to be that person,
right,
but they really have an ulterior motive
to use you.
So I think alignment is very important on this journey to success. There are so many opportunities out here.
Oh yeah.
And you learn when you're too deep in, but it takes a strong person to walk away.
Right.
Especially when you're comfortable. And it's like,
Correct.
well, this isn't the worst situation, but it's not the best. And it's not one that reflects your worth.
Correct.
And it's not reciprocal. I mean, I think that's something that has to be, and that's a real phenomenon that a lot of people don't believe is real. But, energy is transferable. And, when you're continuously pouring into other people and you're not getting that same energy back, it's impossible to keep running. You're running on fumes, on E, essentially, at a certain point.
Exactly. It's a hungry person that doesn't really see her worth yet. Right. So you're taking advantage of it.
Taking advantage, yeah. Because she's eager.
Right.
And she's driven.
And a lot of people that get out and being released, they're eager, they're driven.
Yeah.
It's tough.
It's tough. But I think it's important when I'm at Metro Reentry and teaching financial education classes, one of the things that we always tell the guys is when you get home, you've got to be selfish and you've got to be very deliberate about what it is that you want.
Correct.
You have to be able to say no. You have to take care of your kids and the people in your family who are counting on you to be there. But outside of that, it's you and God and your family. Day one is just a fresh, clean slate. And I think that's why, while, like you were saying earlier, while you're incarcerated, journal, take advantage of that solitary time to just really think of what that vision is and how do you strategically get there, and what are the to-dos from a financial perspective, your housing situation, your family reunification goals, your education goals, your employment goals, is really just thinking of all of those and being willing to be the bad guy. I mean, we even get into, you shouldn't even be dating when you get out.
Oh, definitely.
I mean, that's going to, first of all, put a dent in your wallet, in your bank account. The dating culture is horrible these days. I mean, probably preaching to the
I
choir
just
out
X
here.
myself out.
Right. I mean, so put the blinders up, get yourself together, and if all those other things are meant to be, they will be. You know, that's
Yeah.
secondary to personal development.
Right. A lot of times, a lot of people were like, wow, this girl is amazing. And I was making amazing things happen for everybody else, but I was coming back into my broken place.
It's a lot of, again, it's personal development, it's growing these muscles. And a lot of us are natural nurturers, and we want everybody else around us to be comfortable, to be happy. But I just think there are certain periods of life where selfishness, and that sounds bad. I think we always look at selfish as a bad thing.
Yeah.
But you can't, it's the whole, put your oxygen mask on first before you put on, help somebody else. And I think that that's critical for somebody that's coming home. You have to be flexible because things are going to happen. You got to learn to pivot.
It's not drowned out for you. Like in those walls is drowned out for you. You can't have this, you can't talk anything. Everything is on the time.
Right.
So you get out, it's like, woo.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of work. A lot of people do not want to do the work.
Right.
They want the hurt and the pain to pave the way, and it's not unless you become that and implement every ounce of strength that came from that. And that's why I made sure I documented everything, because when I get there, I do not want anyone to think that didn't happen, or
it was easy.
I've done this, I've done that. What didn't I do? Because I never stopped. Just the biggest thing with me writing was just the truth, real time, and understanding that once I write it down, I can no longer use it as a clutch.
Right.
It's time to let it skyrocket and push me.
Right.
Now it's there on the shelf, but now what's next?
Right.
And so
you can let it rest.
Yes.
Yes. Well, I'm proud of you. It's
Thank you.
been great to watch your journey, and I know there's so much more to come. And you're still so young, you know?
No, not really.
You are. You are. So I can't wait to see, where this takes you, and I think you make a great coach. You would be a phenomenal coach for a lot of people.
And I'm actually trying to go to school. I'm actually, now I was a no school.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to take it serious because I'm realizing as I work on me and love on me, like just going to class and doing the work is basically choosing me, trying to balance it all. And that's just like me saying, hey, I believe in you.
Yeah.
You can do this. Make it happen.
Yeah.
There's no reason why I shouldn't.
I believe in you, whatever you put your mind to. Do you have any ideas like 4-year university, 2-year certificate?
I want to do the whole shebang. I want to.
Okay,
I want to doctorate. Okay. And I know I'm saying that now, and then I was thinking about it like it's not too late.
I could see Dr. Smith. Yes.
So I want to go into psychology, and I just want to do what I've been doing giftedly, but be certified in it. So
I think that's a great plan for you. Shoot for the moon, and
why not?
Why not?
I can add that, and help motivate people on how I was able to just, because it came out of nowhere, just shoot for the stars. I want to add that challenge to my life because I believe in me now.
There's something in the power of education, and just like you said, committing to the classes, the coursework. Yeah. Keeping your grades at a certain GPA, that takes, a certain amount of discipline. I got your back. I think you can do it. Tomorrow. Give you a little time.
These 4 years, is there something you can pinpoint, be the foundation?
Yeah, so we've had now 65 people complete the 12-week program. Okay. So I think that's a good number. And what I'm seeing and what our sweet spot has become is really helping people refine their goal and narrowing the scope. Project Restart has become is helping people to get realistic about their goals and tap into actual resources to help them get there.
Right.
So it's no longer pie in the sky. It's here's the person, here's the program, here's the resources, the financial resources that we can provide. Here is another program that might be able to get you additional resources. So I think that has become our sweet spot, is helping people break their next steps into bite-sized pieces so that they feel more empowered to be able to tackle the next step. And I think that other programs like Project Restart are lacking and is helping people find real employment. Without sending someone to a staffing agency, but finding companies that actually have open positions and are willing to hire directly when people leave the program. Yeah, we want to do more education in 2025 around the tax incentives. They also need to have partnerships with organizations like Project Restart, where they know this is a program that has prepared individuals for the workforce. I just think that people with backgrounds are not always the workforce they have in mind. But if we bring these incentives, do a presentation, teach them more about the benefits of hiring someone with a felony, I think it becomes more attractive. I think IT has been big. People want more training in IT and want to be placed in IT, whether that's Cisco software, AI, learning AI. I think everybody should be learning that. So I think that's a big one. Transportation and logistics.
Oh, okay.
And those are two key industries in the Atlanta area. So my vision is to help people that may not know what type of job they want, but to help to pair them up with some of the most fast growing industries in Atlanta and where there's the most opportunity and future growth. Because that makes it more of a sustainable, long-term goal. It is like getting a job. It's like finding a needle in a haystack these days, even for people without a background. I know people with 4-year bachelor's degrees, master's degrees, and beyond, who are having amazing resumes, are having a hard time finding jobs.
I actually was sitting at a coffee shop, taking pictures of my book. A lady next to me, she's like, "Hey, what are you doing?" Whatever. They got to the point where she said she was just crying, and my story touched her. I gave her a book, but the thing that stuck out to me is she has the master's in chemistry. So she's pretty smart. But she's like, it's hard for her to find a job. And I hate that. So what I told her is, don't let them define your worth. You're still worthy. Let them come to you. You've done enough seeking. Let them come to you.
Become the commodity.
Right. So let's start something in the chemistry world. Let's start promoting something for you, and then let the opportunities come, because you never know. But don't stop, because the no, that just eats at you. So you forget who you are. You forget that I did this. I was disciplined enough and consistent enough. I did this. So just like find something in that field to do on your own, whether it's like, or start working with another company or promoting what they're doing, or give them a couple of ideas or whatever, and volunteer at some places. And be extra certified, but go volunteer. It's like being real silent and moving, because God is going to make it work. So that's right.
And I think when you're fired or you lose a job or you're having a hard time finding a job, take that as a blessing in disguise to be able to be creative in that moment, because we don't get those times and periods here and there. In some countries they take gap years and they take time off to figure out what's next in life, but in America we have this workhorse mentality of go, 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 the hamster wheel, the rat race, whatever you want to call it.
So when you take your time with that, give yourself some breathing room. Take it in. I don't say go ball out with your last check, but slow down and say, hey, okay, that took me back, especially if it was no fault of your own. Then let it be a blessing. It's so much you can do in that area that you could put your name and your stance on it, and it could become something.
Exactly.
And you're the demand. You're the high demand. So
and that is a period. I know we're getting short on time here, but I think that is a time where a lot of people do consider adding entrepreneurship to the mix, or a hobby. And sometimes those are the breakthrough periods in life where it all comes together and you become what you were destined to become. So I think you have to have an open mind.
And you realize you're not too far. If you was passionate about Scuba diving. You
Right.
know, you got fired scuba diving. Okay, you was in water.
Yeah.
You know, how about teach some kids scuba diving?
Exactly.
How about charge everybody to join you? Or,
Mhm.
you know, but you have to like remember who you are. Like, was
Right.
you like when you was working there, I was good to that company. You're still good to yourself. Let's be
Exactly.
better for yourself and let's go ahead and make it happen.
Yeah. Failure is
So,
just a bunch of lessons that you got to compile together to get to that next step. Stay confident, stay diligent. Well, this has been great, Victoria.
awesome.
Yes.
When I wrote that, I was like, oof. Yeah. I was like,
Yeah.
God, like, next book, I'm gonna either let somebody else write it for me.
Yeah. A
You know, let me
ghostwriter
talk it, let
or
me just record myself.
yeah.
But that was a lot of work to publish it
I'm
myself,
telling you,
edit it myself. Oh my
I
goodness.
can't wait to read it because I
And
know it's good.
this is what I always tell people. You can read this in 30 minutes. Look
Yeah.
how big the words are.
Yeah.
I don't play because
Right.
I was like, yeah, I don't like to read, but
I know
you
I'm
know,
not a big reader
so
either. That's
somebody else
a
might be out
problem.
there. I don't want nobody short. You know,
Yeah.
keep on flipping,
Right.
and so that was a big thing that I
Well, this is gonna be my reading over the holidays.
yeah. So
I'm looking forward to it. I'm proud of you.
thank you so